But he's like holding my damn hand and rubbing it, and he's like, very nice, very soft. And I'm like, what the hell? And he kept saying, you like? And I'm like, what the hell? Hey sweethearts, it's Nick Venus once again, tapping in. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on all post notifications so you can be notified every time I upload. Okay, girl. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about the creepy ass taxi driver that tried to hook up with me. Okay, so at the time, me and my homegirls, you know, we would go to the clubs and stuff. So in my city, there was 2 transgender clubs. Literally, that was it. Only 2 transgender clubs. At the time, all my homegirls were transgender. So first we went to this one transgender bar. You know, we would go there pretty often, quite often. So we went to that bar, and I'd say we was only there for like 2 hours because we're like, girl, you know, we've been drinking, we're ready to dance, girl. So that was more like a bar, and the other one was a club. So the transgender club was down the street, but it wasn't like walking distance. It was about like 15, 16 blocks. So girl, so one of our transgender homegirls, she was already there, and she's like, yeah, I got my car over here, you know. So we're like, you know what, let's hop in an Uber. So I left my car by that bar. So we all hopped in an Uber and we drove down there. And, you know, we get in and we're dancing and drinking and having a good old time. You know, everything's cool. No drama, no shade, no nothing. It's just all fun, you know. So then the club, you know, is getting ready to close. So we're outside, like in the front of the club, me and my homegirls, and we're like, you know, still talking and stuff. So I remember I seen this one girl, and I could tell she was a lesbian, like a stud. She kind of reminded me of Lil Ma, but she had like a bunch of tattoos, you know. And my homegirl, she, you know, we were talking to her, and she's like kind of being like, she's kind of being like flirtatious and like playful and stuff. She's like, you know, like grabbing me and like, you know, she's just being like flirtatious and playful, you know, not weird or anything. So. And then, so we're talking to her, and she says, oh, she's a rapper. And I could tell, like, she's not from the city, you know. I could tell she's from, like, New York or something, you know. And she told us that she's, like, yeah, like, from the Bronx or something. So, yeah. And then, she said she was a rapper, and then my homegirl's like, oh. She was telling her that, she's like, yeah, my homegirl, she sings, and she's done modeling. So my homegirl told her that I sing and done modeling. So she's like, oh, shit, really? She's like, I want you in one of my music videos. So I'm like, okay, cool, shit, I'll be in one of your music videos. So we exchanged numbers, you know, and we talked for a little bit longer, you know, and then she left. So then we're getting ready to leave, and I was telling them like, okay, so what are you guys gonna do? And they're like, okay, since you know, our homegirl, she left the car, and they all live next to each other, like close. But you know, but my car is like back there, you know, I live in a different area. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get in a taxi to go back to my car. They said they're gonna get in the car with their homegirl. So they're like, yeah, but they're like, okay, we're not gonna leave until you get in the taxi. So I'm like, okay, cool. So the taxi's like across the street. So I go to the crosswalk, and then there's a taxi sitting there. So I asked him like, oh, are you waiting for somebody? Like, did somebody get this, like, call for this taxi or something? Because I don't know. And he's like, yeah, somebody, you know, he's waiting for somebody. So I was like, okay, cool. So then I go back across the street. And I see my homegirl talking to some white lady, and it looked like her boyfriend or husband or whoever. So I'm walking across the street, and then she's like, damn, you so fine, damn, you're fine, you know. And I could tell she's kind of drunk, you know, she wasn't like sloppy drunk, but I could tell she definitely had a drink or two. And she just kept like insisting on taking me home, like, damn, I want to take you home, you're so sexy, and this and that. And I'm thinking like, what the hell, like, your man's literally right there. So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe they're like swingers or something. And then, you know, I could tell she's just like drunk. She's like just grabbing me and shit, like grabbing like around my waist and everything. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, nah, I'm good. And then she started being like disrespectful and shit. You know, she's like, oh, I bet you if I had you know, you would go home with me. And I'm like, so then I was just annoyed, you know, so I just stood there. I didn't even say shit. I was just standing there just annoyed, like, okay, this drunk sloppy lady need to get away from me. And she's still talking to me and still insisting on taking me home and shit. And my homegirl, she's looking at me, so she could tell I'm annoyed too. She's looking at me like this bitch, you know, like that, and she knows I'm annoyed. So then after she's just talking, just drunk, you know. Then they finally leave. Then my homegirl's like, oh, there's some more taxis over there. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, yeah, wait right here, and I'm gonna see if I can get a ride. Then I'll let y'all know. So I go back across the street, and there's a taxi driver, and it's like an African guy with an accent. So I'm like, is there any way that you could take me back to my car? And he's like, yeah, get in, yeah. So he had like an accent. So I told my homegirl, I'm like, yeah, I got a taxi, and they're like, cool. So they split. I hop in a taxi and start driving. I give them the location and say, yeah, you just drive straight down here, like 15, 16 blocks, just straight. So I'm just on my phone in the back seat, and then he's like, what is your name? And I tell him my name, and he tells me his, but it's like an African name, so I don't remember. And you know, people they just shake your hand, that's it. I go to shake his hand, he's like reaching behind the seat, and he keeps looking back, but he's like holding my damn hand and rubbing it, and he's like, very nice, very soft. And I'm like, what the hell? And he kept saying, you like, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, just get me to my destination. So I'm back on my phone and stuff. And then he kept insisting on taking like a scenic route. He's like, oh, I go over here, I'll take you over there, and then we go, we go this way. And I'm like, no, we don't need to go that way. Just drive straight. And then he keeps saying, very nice, very beautiful. You're very beautiful. And then he keeps insisting on going a different way. He's like, yo, no, we go this way, and then I could take you over there. And I'm like, what the hell? So now I'm getting like anxious. I'm getting like paranoid and shit. And I'm like, damn, I'm in this taxi with this creepy ass guy by myself. Out of all fucking times, girl, I forgot my motherfucking taser. Usually I always keep my taser in my purse. I'm like, damn, I'm by myself. This creepy ass taxi driver, he keeps insisting on taking a scenic route, driving different areas when all he needs to do is drive straight, and I ain't got my motherfucking taser. So I get back on my phone, and now I'm like a little paranoid. I'm like, damn, I don't know, this guy's creeping me out. And then, so he's still talking to me, like the ride, the whole ride, just talking to me and saying shit. I ain't even paying attention. I'm just like thinking to myself, like, just get me to my destination. And I'm on my phone, like, So we get to my destination, and then he's like, yeah, you very beautiful. And I was like, okay, so how much is it? And he tells me the price. And then I give him the money, and I get out, and then I get out the car, and I'm walking to my car, because he's parked like not right next to my car, but I say like 1 or 2 cars parking spots away. And then I look back, I notice he gets out too, and I'm like thinking like, okay, maybe he's checking his tires on his taxi or something, I don't know. So then I get in my car, I unlock the door, I get in, all of a sudden his ass opened my damn door and gets in the damn car, and he's like rubbing himself, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, get out. I'm like yelling, I'm like, get out. And then he tweaker walks. He tweaker walks into his car and gets in his taxi and takes off. I'm like, what the hell, girl? I started having flashbacks because in one of my previous story times, girl, I almost got kidnapped inside of a white van. I almost got kidnapped and put in a white van around the same area too. It was around that club, the same area. So I started having like flashbacks and shit. I'm like, girl, these creepy ass men. So after that, I was like, you know what? I was like, for now on, I am not getting in no damn Uber by myself. I'm not getting a taxi by myself. I'm not going anywhere by myself. If I ain't with my homegirls, I am not fucking getting in no motherfucking taxi by myself, girl. Cause these guys be tripping. Like, it don't even matter if they're at work. One time I had a guy in a damn charter bus, a Sequan casino bus, literally stalk me through the back streets. Parked that big ass bus on the main street, blocked traffic, put the motherfucking hazards on, ran across the street, and insisted on taking me home to hook up with me. Girl, like these creepy ass dudes be bold, girl. And then I'm like you can't tell them no too. If you tell them no, they get pissed. So I would say, oh, I have a boyfriend, and this dude gonna say, oh, but my is bigger than his, and I'll tear that out. Like, I'm like, what the hell? And so I just like, girl, that stuff happens so many times. You got to make sure you got you a taser. Make sure you going with your homegirl, especially when it's like to the club and you're leaving like 2 in the morning and stuff like that. Girl, so yeah, so that's pretty much, and then after that, I always would go to Jack in the Box. So after that, I went to Jack in the Box, got me some breakfast burritos, and went back home. So yeah, So that was the story about the creepy ass taxi driver. So if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for future content. And until next time, guys.